The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everyone to my exclusive Insurance WebEx web class called Obtaining Prospects Who Will Hire and Refer You While Maintaining Clients Who Will Consistently Do Business with You. This is Ann Bachrach. Feel free to ask questions in the question area of the GoToWebinar and I will answer them when I can. Make sure you have something that you can take notes on or with or use your computer, however it's best for you to capture notes because you're going to want to take lots of notes today. The goal is to make sure that all of our communication, whether it's verbal, on the website, within social media, in our scripts that we use, in our brochures, if you still use them or even know what they are, is really all about them. Who are them? Well, our clients and our prospective clients, and that they're totally congruent with being client-centered. The key to increasing your success depends on you implementing these key points into your business and your life so you can achieve the goals for the reasons that are important to you. Well, like you, most people really know what to do. They just don't always actually do what they need to do and then do it consistently. Now this webinar is recorded so that if you want to go back to it, which I certainly do recommend, go back to it again, watch it again, or download the slides, you certainly will have access to do that. You can find the recordings on my website in a special area that I've designated for Insurance WebEx web classes, where there's also other special resources that are available to you. In addition to that, Insurance WebEx will have this posted on their website as well. All right, let's get rolling. The truth is that there are a lot of advisors who really believe and think their businesses or practices are client-centered, yet they don't totally behave 100% that way. So most advisors agree that their businesses should be all about their clients, but for whatever reason, they've never really formulated or implemented an actual plan to make this happen. So even though advisors think they are client-centered, they have really structured their businesses typically around the preferences of themselves and not really the clients. A number of years ago, a survey of financial professionals was conducted, and they were each asked the question, do you think you're client-centered? Well, as you might have guessed, every advisor answered that question, yes. No surprise there. So most advisors care about their clients, I think, or they wouldn't be in this business. And most likely, that's what these advisors thought they were being asked about. But when asked to apply certain objective criteria, they found out that only 14% of the advisors' businesses were actually all about the clients. The majority of these businesses were set up to cater to the advisor's preferences again, not the clients. So I love this quote by Guy Kawasaki. You don't compete on strategy, you compete on actual execution. Now, just to give you a little example of this, I was talking with someone that I coached the other day, and he mentioned that he has a 5-step, quote, I'm going to call it a sales process for obtaining clients. So what do you think about having that many steps to actually getting one new client? Well, what if the prospect is ready to buy in just 1 or 2 meetings? Well, I asked him that question, and his response was that he has a 5-step process and they are going to go through it. I then suggested this thinking was really about him and not the prospective client. So would you want to spend 5 meetings with someone when you were ready to buy in 1 or 2 or even 3? How would having a shorter process that produced the same benefit to them and to you be done? So having systems and processes is great, and I strongly recommend this to everyone that I work with. However, periodically reviewing these systems and processes to make sure that they're really about the prospects or the prospective clients or the actual clients and not all about you would be a good use of time. Now, I know you probably care about your clients and you would really love to run an all about them business. So the question comes down to how? How do you go from running your practice as it is now to operating the kind of business that consistently puts the clients first? And if you think you already run a business that's all about them and is client-centric, then how would you take that to the next level? Now, this kind of thinking will also help you, obviously, in being DOL applicable, DOL compliant, as everything is about the DOL these days. Do you ask your clients to give feedback on their experience with you and your staff and the firm? I believe this is really incredibly effective. However, few advisors really send surveys to their clients. The truth is, advisors don't want to take the time to ask for various reasons, is my guess. It takes time to not only create the survey, it takes time to actually then conduct the survey. Then you have to collect the information. Then there's the challenge of actually maybe implementing some of the suggestions that are made if you actually like any of the ideas that might be provided to you. The difference between an everyday business and an extraordinary one might simply be just a really simple and easy client survey. So I certainly would recommend conducting a client survey because it can be a powerful transformational tool for you and maybe even for them, that you show enough that you care to even ask them for feedback. Listening to your clients and truly comprehending their needs is an important factor when you're building a client-centric business that's really all about them. Of course, your business is completely dependent on your clients. So if you don't make it all about them, it might not ever reach its true potential. I think that even one of the reasons that advisors don't ask for referrals, at least a lot of people that I talk to, just really don't, even though we all know that most clients come to you by referral or an introduction from somebody. I believe it's because they know deep down they actually probably could do just a little bit more to make their clients even happier. And if clients could be even happier, it allows them to be stolen away from you. So think about that and think about in terms of, how could you make them even happier? What do you need to do that would do that? Sometimes it's just a little survey and get a couple little ideas that shows that you care, and implementing a few of those things can make a big difference. I was talking to an advisor the other day who said that his current advisor never contacts him, never talks to him, never contacts them, never does really anything reaching out to them, hardly at all, ever the entire year. So how do you think that makes these people feel about what services they're actually getting and what you're actually doing for them? So here's just a few websites that you can quickly and easily conduct surveys. SurveyMonkey these days, when I originally did some surveys and did this many years ago when I first started doing surveys, Opinion Power was big and Survey Builder was big, and SurveyMonkey was just starting out. So now I think that it's a much bigger resource than it used to be. So usually that's the one that most people seem to be using today. It's really quick and easy, and a lot of times the free features are all that you need. So just a couple examples. Now, a board of directors or advisory board or sounding board or focus group, whatever you might want to call these group of people, creating this type of group can help you be even more client-centric and actually help accelerate your results. one of our advisors, Rod, created an advisory board when he was still building his business. He's since not building his business anymore. He's closed it off because he has enough clients. But when he was still building his business, he created a group, and he created that group where he met with them every year. His first criteria for that group was that, first of all, the people had to fit his ideal client profile. Secondly, they would express their opinions objectively to him if they were going to be part of this group about what he was doing well and what he might be not doing well. The purpose of this advisory board, or sounding board, again, whatever you might want to call it, was for him to get input on the services and products that his firm was offering and how to make his practice even more client-focused. Actually, what ended up happening, and this is all from him, is what he's told me, is that this group actually became the ambassadors for his business. Now, when he first decided to do this, this was back in July of 2000, so 16 years ago. He decided it was going to be made up of 10 ideal clients, an estate planning attorney, and a CPA. This group, he called it a board of directors, used to meet 5 times a year to go over Rod's business plan and help him make important decisions involving his clients and even his staff. So in the beginning, he discussed a business plan with his board, which included a change from what he perceived to be his old world of doing things, which was more transaction-oriented with most compensation directed from commissions, to a new world, which was more on a high-trust relationship based with more focus on ongoing fee-type compensation. So he was basically changing his business model. So while discussing what he's calling the old world to going to the new world concept, one of his clients actually spoke up and asked him about how many weeks in the year that Rod was planning on working in the office with his clients. Rod said at the time 44, and the client said that he didn't want Rod working more than 45 hours a week because if he was spending 10 to 15 hours a year on him, Rod shouldn't have more than 200 clients, and that he would prefer that Rod only have 150 clients. The rest of the group then chimed in and agreed with the idea of Rod closing his practice to new clients once he reached 150, so that Rod would have more time to stay focused on them, serving them, helping them achieve their goals, and really doing what is important for them. Pretty interesting, huh? So people start to think in terms of, how much time are you spending? What are you actually doing? And how much time am I getting from just this conversation? Pretty astute group of people, don't you think? So by including the estate planning attorney and the CPA on his board, he was also able to create then strategic alliances with them, because the advisory board had stated that they wished they had a connection with a CPA and attorney through his firm, so that there would be more communication between all the parties involved and helping them actually achieve their financial goals, because it's really an integral part. So they wanted it to all be working synergistically together with different types of people that could also help them with their financial types of needs. Now, I recently interviewed a number of successful advisors and asked them if they had an advisory board or focus group or something like this. The majority of them said that they've always wanted to do this, but never took the time to create this kind of group. A few of them said that they created this kind of group to help them build their business, but never kept the group together after they stopped doing client acquisition, and actually thought, now that I was bringing it up, that it would be a good idea to keep this kind of a group going so that they will recreate it again, and obviously with more focus on being even more client-centric. And even today, Rod still has his group of people together and helps them with doing various activities, client appreciation events and different things like that they have input on. They don't meet 5 times a year anymore, but it's really a good group to keep having going forward. Okay. Now, let's go into the 12 questions that you need to ask yourself about building an all about them business. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can jot down the questions or really think about the question and think about some answers to the question that I'm asking. So remember, you can go back and listen to the recording. You can also, again, get the copy of the slides. So if we go a little bit too fast for things that you're thinking about, you can always come back to this. I typically recommend that you would just, as you're thinking of the question, jot down the answers to the question that you have. I think that would be a better way to go. Okay, question number 1. If my business were really all about them, how often would each client see me every year? And how much time would they get? So here's an example. I was talking with an advisor who said she wanted to have and had A, B, and C clients. She told me the amount of time she wanted to spend with each A client, with each B client, with each C client. So then when I asked her how much time she was actually available each year, time, it's basically minus holidays, vacation, even unexpected events that can occur, and how much time it would actually take her to deliver on what she wants to deliver. When she calculated all of that, she was actually out of time. It wasn't physically possible. So she thought she wanted to do certain things, which was great for A's, B's, and C's, but she realized she just didn't physically have the time. So she had to really rethink what she was going to give each level of client going forward. So again, if my business were really all about them, how often would each client see you every year, and how much time would they get? So you really do want to think this through based on your clientele, or if you're moving maybe from an old world to a new world, and that sort of thing. So just jot down a couple of things as they come to you. Question number 2. If my business were really all about them, exactly what would I do for each person or each couple or each group or each company? They might even be different things you haven't thought of yet because you haven't had the time to think about what they would be. So this is perhaps where your advisory board or focus group, again, whatever you want to call it, could help you. So for example, a lot of people, a lot of advisors, want to have relationships, obviously, with estate planning attorneys, CPAs. But what about other things? You could have relationships with other people. It could be your clients want to buy a car, so you have a relationship with, I call him the car dude. There is one, an advisor introduced me to, and I call him the car dude. And anytime any client anywhere in the United States wants a car, he can help them get that. And whether it'd be lease or purchase, and set it all up so they don't have to pay, and deal with the salesperson. The car can even be driven over and you can, test drive it from your house. It's really a pretty cool service and doesn't actually cost very much. So what about those types of things? Could it be you have other relationships with, so many times we have clients that are getting older. So do some of your clients have recommendations for certain doctors that they like? Not that you're, liable for any of those things, but maybe, if somebody says, hey, I'm looking for this doctor, and you can say, well, this other client likes these people, or other clients like these people, could you just be helping them, direct them to some other people that could help them if they needed something? Question number 3. If my business were really all about them, how would I make my clients' lives simpler? So could you make your clients' lives even simpler? What would that be? How would you do it? Question number 4. If my business were really all about them, how much would clients pay me for the value I provide? And even with the DOL, this is going to be even more important to understand what value are you providing, how do you succinctly communicate that to them in a way that's all about them so they really understand it, So it's succinctly and directly in a way that's all about them, and that they gladly see the value and want to pay you for that particular service. I mean, I've known people that have told me that clients have come in and said, I don't think we pay you enough. You know, they created such an elaborate, financial plan for these people. It's like, I think that's worth more. Okay, we're undercharging. That's a first clue. But, you want that kind of a person. You want to be doing that kind of service that they, are happy to pay you whatever it is they pay you for that value that you provide them, and they know what that value is. They understand it. Question number 5, if my business were really all about them and really client-centric, do they think what I do is worth it, and how do I know for sure? So again, coming back to asking questions. What are the biggest, what's the biggest value you get from our time together? Doing surveys. So how do you know that they think, they understand what you do and that it's worth it, and how do you know? So what are you going to do to find that out? How could you make them happier so they're really crystal clear about everything so they can't be stolen from somebody else? You want them to know that you want to know that they feel it's really worth it, or even maybe that they could be underpaying you. I have a mechanic. I always feel like he's underpaying me for the value that he provides. And I always sometimes end up paying him more just because I feel bad. You want that kind of a relationship. You want them to really understand that and know that it's really worth it. Question number 6. If my business were really all about them, how many clients could I do all of what I do for and make the kind of money that I really want to make? So if my business really all about them, how many clients can I do all of what I do for and make the kind of money that I really want to make? So again, if you increase some of the value, and maybe you're, again, transitioning kind of from an old world to new world, so to speak, because of the DOL or whatever might be going on, then could you increase, what you get paid? How would you do that? And how could you make the kind of money that you want? And how many clients do you really need to be able to do that? Okay. Question number 7. If my business were really all about them, how much time, more or less time, would I actually talk in meetings? How much more would I really listen, as my friend Max Dixon says, show up ready to be no place else? Nothing personal, but do your clients really want to spend hours with you if they don't have to? Maybe they could be spending that time doing other things that are more important to them than spending the time with you. Again, it's nothing personal, but I've had advisors tell me, some of these meetings go on for hours and hours and hours, and think about it, do they really need to? And it doesn't mean you can't be friendly and, nice with people, but think about them. What is it they would rather be doing than spending time in a financial meeting with you? And those are important meetings, but sometimes advisors just carry it on too long and they don't really need to. So one of the exercises that I think is cool is a quality of life enhancer exercise that my husband Bill Baccarat created, and it's actually under the silver membership on my website under accountabilitycoach.com. And it's a really cool exercise because it's really simple. It's another way, obviously, that it shows that you care, because it talks about what's more important in life than money. And these are all the things that they cannot delegate to someone else. So it's a great exercise to do with your clients, and that really helps you understand, hey, instead of spending so much time with me, you could be out doing X, Y, and Z that they've written on this quality of life enhancer exercise. So again, it just enhances your relationship. It's a great communication tool, and it helps them really focus on things that they would like to do in their life and enhance their quality of life. Question number 8. If my business were really all about them, how many more referrals would I receive from each person or each couple? It's my belief that I think advisors limit themselves on referrals sometimes because they maybe just don't expect it. I had a guy once who basically said, I do ask for referrals. I said, that's really great. So, but he says, I always get one. That's all I get. That's all I'm going to get. I get one. That's good enough for me. And I said to him, though, what do you expect to get? Well, I expect to get one. So I said, well, if you expected more, then do you think you'd actually get more? And he thought about that for a minute and he said, yeah, I actually do. So it was a limiting belief that he had that he didn't realize he had. And once he was aware of it, he could then start creating a system or a process that would allow him to get more than just one referral. So when you're creating a business that's really all about them and client-centric and you're doing everything so they can't possibly be happier, they're going to want to refer you to every single person that they know gladly and happily and be excited to do it because they believe that what you're doing for them is off the charts amazing and nobody else probably is getting that level of service or attention. Question number 9. If my business were really all about them, how many people would staff my office or be on my virtual team? So obviously not all people have to be in an office, they can be virtual. So keep in mind that a team member can also be a subject matter expert in various fields like your CPA, your attorney, your mortgage broker, the car dude that I talked about. Could be a real estate agent. It could be a lot of different types of people could actually be on your team. And one of the things that you could create is a diagram, if you don't already have one, of your team. So it doesn't mean that you're paying them a salary. It just means that these are people like subject matter experts and staff members that are on, quote, your team to service your clients. Think about the impact that would have when they really understand all these people who have their back, all these people that you have on your team, really have their back with anything financial that would come up in their world. Pretty cool. Question number 10. If my business were really all about them, how would I enhance my systems and processes to be even better for them and still achieve the same or better results? So updating systems and processes is a, quote, work in process at times because technology changes, things change, there become easier ways, better ways to do things. So I always believe, and everybody I coach, I always recommend that everyone in the office have, first of all, systems and processes to do their job, but also have a way to update and modify them as things change or time, goes by. So just think about how you might enhance your systems or processes to be even better for your existing clients or your prospective clients to achieve the same or better result. Question number 11. If my business were really all about them, would I have strategic alliances or centers of influence and partners? And if so, and I would hopefully you would, the answer to that would be yes. So if so, who would they all be? So again, I think sometimes we limit ourselves to who a partner can be and not really think and expand our minds to people that I mentioned earlier. So again, it could be the car dude, it could be a mortgage broker, it could be, an ophthalmologist, it could be, all the real estate agent, it could be a lot of different kinds of people based on your type of clientele. Question number 12. If my business were really all about them, what would your life look like if it was really all about them? So for example, how would you take care of yourself physically, emotionally, mentally? How would you be an even better example for your clients? So when you think about these 12 questions and the answers to these questions, it'll make a difference in you transforming your existing business and help you really create an all about them business that's even more successful and even more client-centric. So again, you'll probably want to listen to the recording again and review the slides and think about the answers to these 12 questions and make any necessary changes. Again, they don't have to be big changes. They can be just really small things that you do, very small things that you do that would make a difference. Just reaching out and touching your clients more. There was actually another survey that was done at one time that said that you need to touch your clients, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 22 to 24 times a year. That's twice a month. So, and again, it could be just cards, it could be a quick phone call, it could be an email, it could be a lot of different ways that you can show that you care about people. And a copy of the webinar, Jean, just for your information, will be, and the slides will be on my website on a special URL link that I'll give you at the end, in addition to Insurance WebEx. Okay. So let's just start a really quick exercise and get you thinking about what we've talked about so far. So hopefully, I'm hoping that you've thought of a few really good answers to some of the 12 questions that I just asked. So here's a place where you might just want to start writing them down. So you might be surprised to find that many of the benefits create a better and even more manageable business for you. So make a list of everything that you just thought of that you could or will now deliver to your clients or prospective clients and how it benefits them. So it could also be the benefit to them, could also again be the benefit to you. Then once you have your list, the way I recommend that you do this is put it in priority order of what you could do first, what you'd like to do first, what you think a really cool or a really good benefit that they would easily and quickly see, that they would know. Put that first and a date by which you want to implement that. So what would be the first thing? What would be the second thing? What would be the third thing? And by when would you like to implement it? Because you don't want to probably implement everything all at once. It'd be too time consuming or could even potentially be overwhelming for you and your staff. So just, pick the first thing that you think would be the most important thing that would really be of benefit. And then what would be the second, etc. And come up with some dates that you'd like to implement these or consider implementing these going forward. So just by a show of hands, how many of you have come up with a couple really good ideas that you think would be easy to implement that would help you make your clients even happier than they are now? Just by a show of hands, if you could just raise your hand. Cool. Good. Excellent. Awesome. Okay. All right. So going from good to great. So take your business to the next level. The next thing we want to do is by reviewing language that you use in all methods of communication with your clients or prospective clients. So by using an all about them language in phone conversations, emails, marketing materials, on your website, in social media, etc., your clients and prospective clients will easily relate to the services offered and how they benefit from those things. So many things you are communicating are good. So the question becomes, how can we make them even better is the key to increasing your results. So we're going to talk about some examples of how a simple shift in language can make all the difference. So the first part of each example that I'm going to share with you, we're going to go through several, is about you, which is what I see the majority of advisors' communication. And the second part is how you might change the wording to be more all about them. So think about how you would feel having someone say the first part of what we're going to go through versus the second part. And then listen to each example and see how you feel about each one. The response that you feel might be just a little bit, might be slight, but you want to use the one that feels better for them, that you think is going to feel better for them, even though both might be good. So which one is going to be better? Now, I thought this was interesting. I thought this would be kind of fun to do today with you all, is I just went on to an advisor's website just a few minutes before the webinar today, and I went to see how many on his landing page, how many sentences started with I, the firm name, we, or our. Well, as you can see, every single one of them. Every single sentence started with we do this, we do that, our goal is this, we, our firm, instead of things like, for example, and I just put a couple of little examples down here. Clients tell us, clients enjoy, you will discover, you will experience, you'll be confident to know, you'll be confident in that. You get, you receive, you'll be part of an elite community, you'll have a unique experience. Which is what? All about them, not about you. So you want to focus on the benefits to people first. You know, it's kind of like features and benefits. Well, a lot of times we're just focused on the features or things that are, you know, we do this, we do that, we do this. Yeah, okay, great. What are you going to do for me? Remember the old, you know, expression, what's in it for me? So focusing on the benefits first. And I just went to a website, and this was on their first main page that I came to. And you can do the same thing with LinkedIn. I've looked at LinkedIn profiles. I've gone to advisors' LinkedIn profiles and looked at it again. I do this, we do this, our firm does this. Now, is this communication terrible? No, it's not terrible, but could it be better? So the answer is yes. So again, how do you take what you're doing now and just make it a little bit better? That's where we want to focus, okay? All right, so the first example. I want to start out today with the discussion of versus in order for you to get the best experience in our time together. So do you feel that? Do you hear that? I want to start out our day with a discussion of versus in order for you to get the best experience in our time together. So you might even say these to yourself out loud, but I can hear it. I can feel the difference even. So you want people to hear and feel a different perspective. You want them to know what's in it for them. The second example at the bottom is I want to talk to you about versus the next logical step for you is, so again, directing them where they need to go for the logical step for them personally. Okay? Someone might ask you, which a lot of people do, you know, what do you do? And most of us start out by saying something like, we specialize in working with clients who, instead of possibly something like the clients who are best served by our firm or by me or by our team are this. So a lot of times, you know, most people just say, we do this, we do that, we do this, instead of really saying, and somebody might say, well, how do you do that then? So it's intriguing. You know, the clients who are best served, you know, look like this, or the clients who are best served, you know, are this. Well, how do you do that or get this benefit? Well, how does that happen? So it'd be cool if more people ask you questions about that instead of making a statement and they just go, oh, okay, just like everybody else in the financial services business. You want to differentiate yourself from other people. The other example below is I want to have only 122 clients in our firm versus when you work with us, you'll be part of a small and special or unique or I don't know, cool group of only 122 clients who receive all of our attention. Wow, that sounds really cool. I want to be part of a small, special group, unique group, not part of, you know, 800 people. Okay. The next example is my existing clients will help me add the right clients to our firm so I spend the least amount of time possible in marketing for new clients and the most of the amount of time, my time serving you. I can read. Versus existing clients want to help or are eager to or excited to help add the right clients to our firm so we spend most of our time serving you. And when you're doing the client-centric work and the client-centric business so they couldn't possibly be happier, they are eager. They are excited to refer. Think about times in your life when you've been somewhere or met someone who did a really great job, or you were at a restaurant that was amazing, or a service person at a restaurant that was amazing, or anything, a movie that was amazing, whatever experience you might have had that was amazing. I mean, you went and told everybody that you know, hey, you have to go try this out. You have to go to this movie. You have to go eat at this place. You have to make sure you ask for this server. You have to go do blank, whatever that might be. You know, if I know anybody has a Mercedes, for example, I tell them you have to go see my mechanic. I mean, they're amazing. They only work on Mercedes, but they're amazing. And they charge, you know, a fraction of the amount that, you know, the dealers charge. So that's what you're looking for. And when you do everything, you know, where it is client-centric, they are eager and are excited. Okay, next example. We limit ourselves to having 87 total clients. So again, clients who join us are part of a small and select or unique community of only 87 total clients. And being part of this small community of clients allows you to experience exceptional service. So think in terms, again, of the language that's used in your marketing materials, which includes your website, just as it would personal conversations or emails, your social media. Review everything that you use and make sure that you're using more you-focused language that's really all about them. What's in it for them? What's the benefits to them? And you succinctly and directly communicate that so they get it quickly. You don't want something that's really verbose or they're going to get confused. Too much information, a confused mind says no. Another example here, we are fortunate that 95% of our new clients are referred to us. Again, clients are eager to refer or introduce us to everyone they know who they think fits with what we can do for them. I'm making a transition in my business that is a substantial improvement for you. That's great. But how about something like, hey, great news. A new business transition results in substantial improvements for you. You're going to now receive blank, 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 blank. Great, cool, that's awesome. So let me just give you a couple of pointers, and I kind of did that in the example that I showed you earlier about when I went to the advisor's website this morning. So the easiest way that I found to transform the language is to really review everything that you have. Again, social media, everything, your website, your scripts, any marketing material, anything that you have. And look for any I's, we's, or ours, and I just circle them. So when somebody gives me something, I just go through with a red pen and just circle everything or highlight it on the screen or whatever I'm using. Then look at the sentence where everything is located. Well, usually the I's, we's, and ours are located in the first part of the sentence. And what's located in the second half of the sentence is the benefit. So in my opinion, it's better to put the benefit up front and right in their face, what's in it for them right up front than in the second half of the sentence. They might already be tuning you out. So if you start with I or our or we, that's about you. They might already be tuning you out when you start that way. So we're trying to get them to pay attention. We're trying to get it to differentiate you. We want them to know exactly what they're going to get right up front. So again, look at your emails, and sometimes you have templated emails. Look at your marketing materials, your website, your social media, anything that you do. Look at it and transform it to more you-focused language that's really all about them. Again, what you have is probably not terrible. It's probably pretty good. But could it be better? That's what we're looking for. So Scripting for consistent and desired results versus winging it. So the same thing about your communication verbally. So do you need more practice with scripts so you can gain skill and confidence with some of the things that you're using to really be all about them? So you want consistency. So if you're saying something that's getting a good result, how can you replicate that? If you're just winging it, you're not consistently saying the same things, how do you know what really is working or what isn't working or what could work if you don't really know what you're saying? So I always believe in scripting everything and then working to, own it, basically. I need to own that conversation, that script. And again, you shouldn't be talking a lot anyway. You should be asking questions and getting them to talk about them, and then you can see where what you do can help them and then pinpoint that to make that, again, a benefit to them. Hopefully that all makes sense. So to me, part of building a client-centric business is really learning to drive your communication from the truth instead of, quote, just a sales, tactic. So conducting your business with integrity and respect and providing valuable services as opposed, to, quote, just making the sale will not only build an all about them business, but I think it'll build an even more successful business. And it's not that you're just all about sales and you don't care and you don't have integrity or respect, but it's just how can I be better? How can I make clients even happier? What else can I do to really elevate every client or prospective client experience? So what do I need to do to make that happen? Where am I going to start? So a couple resources that you have access to are two pretty short articles that again go over this concept, 4 essentials of effective communication that produces big results and how to create an all about them business. So which will go over some of the things that we talked about today, but obviously a little bit more. Those are located on the URL that you see on your screens. So it's accountabilitycoach.com/iWebEx hyphen, and I don't know why my assistant always has to make these so long, but iWebEx hyphen request hyphen free hyphen resources. So if you look at that URL and write that down, you'll be able to get the replay of this particular web class along with these 2 articles will be on that particular landing page for you, as well as the other 2 web classes I've done for Insurance WebEx. The first one I did was 7 proven ideas that help advisors achieve better results. And the second one I did was 4 action steps for making more money and getting better results now. So in addition to some other complementary resources, a delegation list, a referral tracking, and a lot of various other things that were parts of these other web classes, I just kept it all there for you as well. So everything is all in one place for you to take advantage of what you would like and what you think would benefit you the most. Oh, thank you, Dixon. I really appreciate that comment. So he's just telling me that I'm great. So I appreciate that. The other resource that I don't know if you know about this, my husband has a new ebook out called The Confident Advisor, How to Thrive in the New World of DOL Fiduciary Standard, Digital Advisors, and 5 Other Critical Industry Disruptions. Long title, but really good book. It's 11 chapters, and it's not like a normal, quote, ebook where it's just words on paper. That actually contains short demonstrations, videos, audios, scripts, and tons of resources that help you get more clients, generate more revenue, and be even more referable. So if you haven't gotten that yet or don't know about it, it's at www.billbackrack.com/e-book. So you see the URL on your screen right now. So it's billbackrack.com /e-book, and feel free to take advantage of that as well. I don't see any other questions. Hopefully this was of value to you all. And I really appreciate Insurance WebEx Insider for sponsoring this particular webinar today and asking me to share these concepts with you. They've also asked me to do the web classes consistently throughout 2017, so you'll be hearing about some other web classes that I'll be doing throughout 2017. So go back and review the things that we talked about today. Apply the ones that you think have the biggest impact on your life, not just professionally, but also personally. So we don't want to just be all business. We want to have good work-life balance. So the key to success, in my opinion, is actually the implementation or the execution. So it's now time for you to actually implement so you can experience even greater success. Feel free to let me know how else I can be of service to you and what else I might be able to do that would help you achieve your goals and have the kind of business and life that you really want to have. Frankie is asking me, what's the quote about showing up like you don't have any place better to be? That's almost it, Frankie. Showing up ready to be no place else. Max Dixon. Max Dixon, D-I-X-O-N, has a quote that says, showing up ready to be no place else. In other words, you don't have anything else in your brain, anything else you're thinking about. You're just there to listen and just be with the client or prospective client or the person that you're talking to. So it's just ready to be no place else. Anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, that's all I have for you today. All right, you're welcome. You guys are all welcome, welcome, welcome. So take care. Have a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday. My website is accountabilitycoach.com. So you'll see it right here down at the bottom, and this is iWebX-request free resources. That URL is where you're going to get a copy of this particular web class in addition to all the complimentary resources that are available there. So hopefully you can still see that at the bottom of the screen. Dixon, accountabilitycoach.com is my regular website, and you can go to the silver membership and sign up if you want the quality of life enhancer exercise as well that I talked about with doing with your clients. I think it's a great tool. And then otherwise just use the URL on your screen to, this program should be there. My assistant puts it on usually within 2 days time. So you'll have the slides and the actual web class. So if you want either or both of them, they'll be available to you there. In addition to On Insurance WebEx Insider, they'll make those available also probably within 2 or 3 days time. Take care, everybody. Have a happy holiday.